Two highly endangered black rhino calves have been relocated to a South African national park. Capella was born prematurely at the Kruger National Park and Tandy was born at Addo National Park. Capella and Tandy were released into holding enclosures at Addo Elephant National Park after a 16-hour journey by truck from the Wildcare Africa Trust rehabilitation facilities near Pretoria. Requiring around-the-clock care, the little rhinos shared an enclosure and sleeping quarters and fast developed a close bond, and when the time came for their eventual relocation, it was decided to keep the two together. The rhinos were rescued within a month of each other as newborns and have been hand-reared over the past 10 months after each was abandoned by its mother. Karen Trendler, Wildcare's wildlife rehabilitator, has cared for the animals since they were brought to her in April and May 2003. She accompanied them. She says that the whole point of Wildcare's rehabilitation is to ready wildlife for a return to their natural homes and to get them back into a proper breeding pattern. Marcus Hoffmeyer, Sand Park's chief veterinarian, said the rhino would continue to be bottle-reared until fully weaned and able to be released into the greater park. Hopes are high that the two will flourish and, on being fully weaned, will be released into the wild to breed and grow black rhino populations. In some African countries, rhinos are completely extinct. Between 1970 and 1992, the number of black rhinos fell by 96%, from approximately 65,000 to 2,300, mostly due to poaching. So it is important that rhinos like Capella and Tandy are rescued and rehabilitated back into the wild. We wish them luck.
Onto a story from Japan. It walks on two legs, dances and responds to voice commands. Japanese consumers now have the chance to buy their very own living dolls. A Japanese venture business in Tokyo unveiled a prototype of a walking robot as one of their first humanoid robots to be offered to home users. It's called Nuvo and will be put on sale by the end of the year. The electronic doll-like figure costs roughly 500,000 yen, which is about $4,500 US. Nuvo can even be used for home security. A digital camera in its head lets owners check up on their homes while they're out. The 39cm, 2.5 kilogram robot walks forward, backwards, right and left and can pick itself up when it falls over. They are presenting Nuvo with state-of-the-art to many events both home and abroad, and also licensed robot design to companies. They are creating a new market for humanoid robots and robotics as a whole. Nuvo can recognize over 1,000 voice commands, including dance and bow. ZMP of Japan is probably best known for selling assembled and kit version robots. ZMP Incorporated was established as the world's first venture developing a humanoid robot in 2001. ZMP Incorporated has been developing new business successively as an innovative company in the robots field. Feedback from research institutes and universities, which have their products, accelerates technological improvement. Nuvo has athletic ability. It walks and picks up. Whenever it falls on its face or back, it can get up on its own. Owners are able to control the robot by remote with video mobile phone. Robots are an integration between science, technology and composition. Education is something which works up people's curiosity through robot manufacturing and makes it possible to learn these skills. This is offered by Robot Scientific Education Consortium, a part of ZMP Incorporated.
From around the world. For almost 200 years, the Iron Bridge has been standing over the Grand Union Canal near the Paddington Basin in West London. A brick exterior hid the fact it was designed by the great British engineer Isambard Kingdom Brunel. The unique structure is only one of the surviving Brunel iron bridges in the UK and was found just before it was due to be demolished. Built around 1838, it weighs over 1,000 tons and is the largest cast iron flat arch assisted bridge in the world. It's the earliest of 8 surviving Brunel bridges in the UK. There is nothing like it in the world, and it is of huge importance to industrial heritage, both of the UK and internationally. There was nothing quite like it designed at the time. It was an innovative structure made interesting by the fact that it is held together by its own weight. There are very few bolts in the structure. It was discovered by an historian researching Brunel's old notes. The design is simple, with each section interlocking together. For now, the bridge is being disassembled in the hope it can be restored to show this masterpiece of British engineering.
The brothers who own this property on which these sheep are raised say their flock is extremely pampered. But they gave little away about their superior treatment, saying the secret was having the right people, the right technology, the right sheep, and the right attitude. The Australian Wool Testing Authority certified the wool at 11.9 microns thick, the finest bale of wool ever tested in Australia, and possibly the world. The average thickness of Australian wool is about 21.2 microns. While other Australian sheep are exposed to soaring temperatures, especially during last year's drought, the brothers' flock lives indoors in a luxury, climate-controlled dwelling. The bale of wool is estimated to be worth over $1 million Australian dollars, or $750,000 US, was safe under armed guard at a bank vault in Brisbane, in the Australian state of Queensland. Riches can be found in many unusual places, even on the back of sheep.
On to the environment, and in India, in yet another attempt to spread awareness to help save the endangered olive ridley turtles, conservationists in India's eastern Orissa state built sand sculptures to draw attention to the rapidly declining numbers of these species. The sculptures have been designed depicting the various stages of the life of the olive ridley turtles. Activists believe that the sand sculptures will encourage authorities to take the necessary steps to conserve the turtles. The Orissa coast is one among the 3 areas where olive ridley turtles reach for mass nesting, the others being Mexico and Costa Rica. But if Orissa is the turtles' largest nesting ground, some wildlife activists say it is also their biggest graveyard. Though protected under India's Wildlife Protection Act, in the past 5 years, over 50,000 turtles have either been mangled by fishing trawler propellers or suffocated in fishermen nets. Orissa has emerged as a haven of sand art and plays host to an annual competition. This is the first time sand artists have used their art to convey a message of nature conservation. Thousands of olive ridley turtles have arrived on the state's numerous beaches for annual nesting. Every year, winter rolls around, the endangered turtles move in large concentrations to one of the 3 major nesting areas before returning to the sea. Wildlife activists say over 700,000 turtles have already made their ritual trek to the nesting sites.
Typically made of moss-covered trees that cloak many of the world's mountain ranges, cloud forests are not just regions of outstanding beauty, but also act as freshwater storehouses for towns and cities across Asia, Africa and South America. The United Nations Environment Programme World Conservation Monitoring Centre has conducted the first ever cloud forest survey as part of an international effort to preserve these unique habitats that are vital to humans and other animals that rely on them for survival. The report concludes that there are 20% less cloud forest in the world than previously thought. As for what's left, investigations revealed cloud forests are at serious risk from global warming and logging, particularly in Asia and South America, where trees are cut down for timber and clearing land for farming-intensive crops. Highlighting the need to protect remaining cloud forests, the report claims that millions of people in the developing world will lose their only source of fresh water if cloud forests continue to decline. Proposed solutions to the problem include tourism and profitable environmentally sustaining ways to harness the fresh water flowing from cloud forests. By paying farmers to protect the forests above, businesses like drink manufacturers and hydroelectric plants in Costa Rica are providing incentives for local people to conserve the natural environment. Cloud forests are unique, fragile and irreplaceable.
Our health story comes from Turkey, where therapists have discovered that listening to Mozart helps patients suffering from autism and dyslexia. If you find out that your child cannot concentrate on his homework, or is having trouble speaking, listening, or even reading, or your child is autistic, then you might try the Tomatis Learning Centre, which aims to treat the problems without any medicine. They only use music and they only use Mozart. Named after the ears, nose, throat French doctor Alfred Tomatis, the listening cures had first been applied to the Second World War pilots who lost their hearing. After a detailed checkup, Tomatis found they could not hear some frequencies at all, but the listening cures helped. The conclusion was reached that constant exposure to loud noises makes the muscles in the middle ear become flabby. So Tomatis tried restoring the hearing by strengthening the ear muscles by listening to music that is constantly switched on and off. The Tomatis Centre now works on that basis to cure hearing problems, as well as autism, Down syndrome, dyslexia, balance and coordination problems, to name a few. Turkey's first centre works mostly with children and pregnant women. The therapists say the ear is the body's main energy centre. The therapist says that it is good to do the therapy for pregnant women, as the ear is the first organ developing inside the womb, and hearing begins during the 4th month of pregnancy. And why Mozart? Because Mozart has a very comforting effect on everybody. His music can easily suit a child's heartbeat rhythm, and the composer is known to be the only composer having all frequencies in his works. Christian Findigliev is coming to the centre for his 11-year-old son, having concentration problems, especially at school. The centre made him and the mother take part in the therapy. Another patient of the centre is 4-year-old Sinan, having problems since he was 9 months old. His physiotherapist says she was surprised by the speed of Sinan's development. The biggest development was his speech. These are good results for this natural therapy. A leading British university have been holding a technology day to highlight some of the UK's emerging technologies. Scientists at Cambridge University's Innovation Centre are currently working in such areas as holographic displays, portable internet radios and medical software. The Innovation Centre is pushing the technological boundaries in the quest for scientific breakthroughs. While the UK scientists have always been at the forefront of innovative development, they now need to move from the laboratory to the marketplace. WebKit has been developing computer systems to help 11 to 12-year-olds develop powers of reason and persuasive speech argument. They use the internet at the starting point for facilitating argument in physical space. Cambridge InnoVision are using cutting-edge computer 3D digital models using information about colour, texture and the shape of objects that could benefit the medical industry. Hopefully this centre will be the springboard to launch UK scientific development to become successful products and businesses of the future.
One of the most sought-after motor shows in Europe, the 10-day International Motor Show at Geneva's Exhibition Centre, showcases all that's new in cars, offering the opportunity to indulge in cars, chassis and accessories. This year sees the 74th edition of the event. All the manufacturers, Ferrari, Audi, BMW and Rolls-Royce, present their new productions, from the prototypes in electric and alternative drivetrains cars to special bodywork for motor cars, design, engineering and converted cars. As well, the show includes accessories and components for motor cars. Original equipment manufacturers, workshop installations for the repair and maintenance of motor cars, as well as miscellaneous products and services relating to the car industry. This event is one of the most popular in Geneva and attracts around 700,000 every year. One of the few attractions on opening day was the unveiling of the new Volvo YCC, or Your Concept Car, made by an all-women team. In the YCC, the fender has been brought into sight and the traditional Volvo V on the bonnet section has been inverted. It gives the car a sporty look and the driver full command of the situation. Easy access to the car interior was a top priority. Last but not least, the car interior can easily be changeable. There are 8 exchangeable seat pad options to choose from. Peugeot unveiled a new family car called the 407. It succeeds the 406 in the middle to upper range, which is the heart of the French carmaker's territory. The 407, Peugeot's new leisure saloon, also made its first public appearance. The makers wanted the exterior to be both functional and sporty to reflect both worlds. For the interior, they were looking on focusing a lot on ergonomics and vision. The Rolls-Royce 100EX was one of the other highlights of the show. It's the first centenary experimental car to be produced by Rolls-Royce since the BMW Group became the custodians of the brand in 1998. Based on a lightweight aluminium space frame, this open-top four-seater two-door drophead has been designed and produced to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of Rolls-Royce in May 2004. It is powered by a 9-litre naturally aspirated V16 64-valve engine. There are no plans, however, to produce it as a series model. In terms of investments in the engineering of the car, this car is really a tour de force, everything from its amazing body shell to the amazing engine. These are the ideas of the future, laying the foundations for the next century of Rolls-Royce. The new Jaguar XK was also unveiled at the show. With new exterior styling, it gives the range a more aggressive contemporary stance. Jaguar's sportiest cars come as coupes and convertibles. All use a 4.2-litre V8 with 294 horsepower. The only transmission is a 6-speed automatic. Standard on XKR and optional on XK8 are a navigational system and self-leveling xenon headlamps. Jaguar's adaptive cruise control, designed to maintain a set distance from traffic ahead, is optional. In the only change for 2004, Jaguar offers a limited run of 200 XKR convertibles in portfolio trim with 20-inch wheels and unique wood interior trim.
The 2004-2005 Autumn-Winter ready-to-wear collection for Lagerfeld Gallery was all about impeccable cuts, impeccable silhouettes and impeccable materials. For Ungaro, the mood was for flowing, ethereal, summer-like outfits. With temperatures in Paris hovering near zero, it seemed fitting that German designer Karl Lagerfeld set his Lagerfeld Gallery show against a polar backdrop, complete with whistling wind and fake snow. Although spring is just around the corner, fashion editors are already plotting trends for the next winter. Lagerfeld offered up hooded ski jackets and top-button trousers that appeared to be plucked straight from the slopes. Lagerfeld, who also designs women's wear for Italian Feria Fendi, has no qualms about using animal skins, and here he took an almost offhand approach, using shaved mink to line an olive trench coat or a black eelskin bomber jacket. The designer's extravagance is usually associated with made-to-measure haute couture, but his obsessive attention to detail was evident in a sleeveless black top adorned with feathers, worn with a pleated long skirt, or in various slit-side pants, combined with leather-trimmed jackets and heavy belts slung low over the hips. Lagerfeld, who last season sent out a t-shirt with the slogan "For Slim People," refrained this time from talking about the diet, which helped him lose an impressive 32 kilos or 93 pounds. But in a none-too-subtle reminder, guests were handed a case of artificial sweetener printed with his trim silhouette. At the opposite end of the spectrum, Ungaro designer Giambattista Valli sent out wispy chiffon dresses in tropical shades that showed a blatant disregard for the season. In 2001, Ungaro appointed his assistant Giambattista Valli to take over the ready-to-wear division. This left the designer Ungaro, about to enter his 8th decade, free to concentrate his energies on couture. Tweed jackets were embellished with ruffles and corset boning that gave them an 18th century feel, especially when paired with knickerbockers trousers in sugared almond shades of pink and blue. The evening dresses, however, were resolutely modern, with skirts split to the thigh under figure-hugging corset tops. A halter-neck dress that dissolved into a cascade of chiffon ruffles seemed perfect for clients like singer Beyonce Knowles. Born in Hamburg in 1938, Karl Lagerfeld immigrated to Paris at the age of 14. He was to go on to become one of the most celebrated designers this century has seen. By 1997, Vogue had crowned him the unparalleled interpreter of the mood of the moment. Despite moving from label to label, Lagerfeld has managed to retain a sense of his own style throughout his career. His success lies in an ability to make a bold statement, and he is never afraid to try something new. He has also maintained a sense of humour throughout his designing.
And finally, a British explorer, Ben Saunders, had set off for an Arctic challenge. It was goodbye to his girlfriend Valeria before British solo explorer Ben set off for his 3-month solo challenge. The 26-year-old is planning to ski solo more than 1,200 miles across the Arctic from Siberia to Canada via the geographic North Pole. Ben has had a lifelong love of the outdoors and has already established himself as one of today's most successful polar athletes, boasting 2 record-breaking polar expeditions. Born in Plymouth, Ben was educated at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, where he completed the 10-week Llewellyn Company, one of the most challenging courses in the British Army. Ben's first taste of expedition life and adventure came during a 4-month stay in the Nepalese Himalayas, aged 19. He then went on to become an instructor at the John Ridgway Adventure School in Scotland, often referred to as the UK's toughest management training school. He has also achieved considerable success as a cyclist, racing on and off at national level, and has completed the London and New York marathons in less than 3 hours. One of Ben's ultimate ambitions is to trace Scott's route to the South Pole and back, unsupported. The South Pole round trip has not been achieved since Amundsen and has never been achieved on foot without dogs. The expedition would be the longest unsupported polar trek in history. Sir Ranulph Fiennes, OBE, the world's greatest living explorer, says that Ben has great spirit and determination to succeed. Traversing the Arctic alone and unsupported remains one of the very few genuine world firsts that have yet to be achieved. In setting out on this, the toughest of all polar expeditions, Ben is likely to reset the polar standard. Ben says the first 2 weeks will be the worst by far because the climate will be coldest and the sun is low with little daylight. It is easy to get psyched out then because his daily distances will be small. Ben is an inspiration to us all. He makes us believe we can achieve anything. Well, that's all we have time for this week. We look forward to your company next time.